2019 is done. Kaput. It's finished. It's over. So, what were the greatest books that came out during this year? What were the books that I would recommend people actually go out and spend their hard earned dollars on? Well, I'll let you know in just a second. All right, so the first book that I am going to say was probably one of the best reads of 2019, even though personally I make fun of it all the time, is yours truly, Daredevil. Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky has been a book that the community, people who read this book, love this book. And I'm not trying to be biased and say, well, I don't like Daredevil because he can't see anything. No, I crack jokes all the time on Daredevil. Matt Murdock's my man. But anyway, no, this is a book that literally every people from all angles, people that like certain type, everybody who reads this book enjoys it. And how can I not highlight it? Next up is a book by Karen Gillan and Stephanie Hans Die. I believe this came out by Image Comics, but this has been another book that it just took the community by storm, and everybody loves this book. It's a great book. It's a great read. If you're into like Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy and like kind of like almost a Jumanji type of experience, hey, this book's right up your alley. And like I said, I'm not trying to be biased because I'm not that big a fan of Die. I did read the first actual trade with my buddy John's Comics with Kids. We actually did a review on it, and you could hear some more in-depth intellectual discussion about it with myself, Mr. John, and actually the immortal Biggie Shack, because, hey, it's a good book. All right, and then Chirp Chirp. We had a little mini-series that came out of nowhere, and it kind of took me by surprise. This Little Bird book, which, there are some people that aren't a fan of the gore inside, but you know what? Little Bird is a book that it kind of doesn't defy 2019, but it's a book that made 2019. And now this is a book that I don't actually read. I don't know a lot of people that are actually reading it. It did finish. The reason why I wanted to highlight it currently is, now this isn't in the list. This is kind of like we're in purgatory at the moment. We're not sure where we're going with this one yet. But The Walking Dead 193 is a book that took everybody by surprise. This is a book where we had solicitations for, issue 194. We had issues 195. So there was no way that anybody even suspected the fact that, hey, this book is done. And especially a book that had such a insanely loyal fan base. People who love the show, people who love the book, people who's been rocking since day one. This book just took a hard left this year. I mean, there were so many people going to the comic book shop, calling up shops, trying to get this book, the whole speculation, because this book just, what the heck? So, I've seen a lot of people do their top books of 2019. 193 of The Walking Dead. This is a book that it took the community by storm. All right, then another book that kind of took the community by storm. Well, not kind of, like it literally did. And it's not just one book, it's a pair of books. There's House of X, Powers of X, intertwining. One issue released one week, the next issue released another week. And everybody loved what Hickman did this year. It set up what the X-Men series could have been and all the other new X-Men titles. And for the first time in a long time, people are talking about X-Men in such a high regard, a high standard, a high enjoyment of a book. And hey, I'm interested to see where this whole X-Men is going to go during the year of 2020. Now, one of my favorite books, one of my favorite books is going to be Deceased. Deceased has been amazing, man. Even being able to meet Tom Taylor after issue number 1 dropped, I was floored because I'm sitting here trying to talk to this guy, trying to get more information because I need to know what's going to happen. Like, this is a book that it drew a little bit of emotion out of me. I'm a man, though. I don't cry. I just tear up every now and then. To comic books that don't really have any significant things in my life, but it made me sad. Why did Alfred have to kill his kids? And then another amazing thing that happened is freaking Detective Comics hitting issue 1000 this year. I mean, how can we not talk about this? And then it's also the 80 years of Batman since Batman was released in the early 1900s. I think it's like 1937 or something like that. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, that's a pretty big damn book that was released. I'm damn, you're going strong for 1,000 issues. You know, not a lot of people do that. And then looking over at IDW this year, hello, we got Usagi Yojimbo with Stan Sakai, man, freaking hitting its 35-year run, and it's in color now. How freaking cool is that? And then we also got a freaking Eric Powell who came out with The Goon again, and it's like every issue was a one-shot. They're funny, it's entertaining. Like, these are great books that came out this year. And dude, no one can stop talking about Once and Future. Every time, you know, I have like a 3-issue rule where I usually buy 3 issues of an indie, and then I more or less make up my mind if I'm going to buy the trade later on. And I very rarely continue reading an indie up until like issue 10 or 11. Once and Future is a book that you don't take off the pull list. Just like Middle West. Middle West came out the tail end of last year, but hey, Middle West has been an amazing run for 2019, and I'm all in for 2020. All right, now I don't want to keep rambling because I'm just like, I'm so energetic and I'm happy and hyper, and I love looking back at all the amazing books that we read this year. Even some of the bad books were kind of good because it's like everything it was an enjoyment. You know, 2019, being able to go to the comic book shop on your Wednesdays, being able to read your books, talk about them with community members. It's such an amazing thing. I can't wait for 2020. Make sure to let me know what were your favorite books or in the comment section down below. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I'm just, when I get really happy, I stop thinking about what I'm supposed to say, and I just say whatever comes to mind. I hope you guys had a great 2019. I hope 2020 is even better, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
What we do here is go back.